The 8th of June of 1945, the world's first nuclear bomb was dropped in Hiroshima. A massive destruction like no one had ever seen before swept through miles of built-up kilometers in seconds, causing the loss of countless human lives. This event was a before and after for the world powers that sought to have the largest nuclear heads as a show of power, intimidation, and precaution. A massive production began that led to the creation of more than 60,000 nuclear weapons, but in the midst of a nuclear boom, no one would imagine that these bombs could be counterproductive for the nations themselves. It was then that in 1982, a group of scientists known as the TAPS, Turco Richard, Toon Owen, Ackerman Thomas, Pollack James, and Sagan Carl, came up with the discovery that a nuclear war could end up in an apocalypse, which they called the nuclear winter. Let's start by seeing the explosion of a nuclear bomb. The first nuclear bombs work through chain fission, which consists of bombarding an unstable atom, such as uranium-235, with extra neutrons. This results in the atoms splitting due to instability, releasing energy. Two new atoms will appear with more neutrons released, making a chain where the new neutrons hit the new atoms, releasing more and more energy. At first, this energy released might seem insignificant, but considering the number of atoms involved, 1 and 24 zeros behind it, it ends up being an immense amount of energy. Today's bombs combine two methods of explosion, conventional and fission. The conventional one explodes to initiate fission, and this serves to heat two atoms, initiating the fusion. The fusion consists of heating two atoms to a temperature 8 times hotter than the core of the sun in order to disperse the electrons that rotate in an atom and to be able to unite their nucleus, releasing an even greater amount of energy. This explosion produces a crater and a shock wave that spreads for kilometers, collapsing buildings and damaging everything in its path. Also, there is an electromagnetic impulse that disables cell phones and all electronic devices. The victims of these bombs were injured by pressure, burns of first, second, and third degree, and the collapse of buildings. As these were not enough, the health services are damaged or in the best of the cases saturated to come to their aid. After several nuclear bombs hit, the smoke they release begins to spread. The problem is that the burning smoke, better known as soot, is very dark, and thanks to that it managed to reach the atmosphere and cover the sunlight, deactivating thus the greenhouse effect, which consists of, due to the gases in the atmosphere, aka clouds, the light can enter but not leave. With the soot preventing it from reaching the atmosphere, the greenhouse effect will be deactivated, so the Earth begins to freeze due to low temperatures. In addition, with the destruction of the buildings came the chemical compounds resulting from the combustion of these structures. Materials such as plastic give off smoke that is toxic to the human body, causing several casualties. It is important to consider that the pyrotoxins that are released into the atmosphere form clouds that drag them through the air to other parts of the world, contaminating not only the air but also the land and the water. Regarding radioactivity, a nuclear bomb releases unstable atoms that can have half-lives of years, causing them to be displaced along with pyrotoxins towards the clouds, forming radioactive rains that, if they are in a close radius to the explosion, can be lethal. But rains can be carried by the wind to more distant territories. This could also cause great damage. Even worse is the destruction of the ozone layer. Because of the smoke emitted by nuclear bombs, the air burns and releases nitrogen oxide that ends up destroying the ozone layer and can destroy the 70% of it, causing severe damage to living beings, such as cancer. But even more dangerous is the fact that ultraviolet rays kill several organisms that are the base of the food chain in the planet, such as phytoplankton that are the base of the food chain in the ocean. As we see, the consequences of nuclear war could be catastrophic and could mean the end of the Earth as we know it. But could something like this happen? What can we do about it? Well, the TAPS discovered that 100 attacks on sheltered cities will make the Earth be in serious danger. And unfortunately, this is not unlikely to happen, since the lately tensions between Russia and Ukraine, to give an example of many, rose to a point where Russia puts its forces in a state maximum alert, implying they can use these weapons. Let us bear in mind that in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the NATO forms a very important part, and in this group, the most powerful country is the United States, provoking a threat between this country and Russia. And remember, these countries have the largest nuclear arsenal in the world. But not everything is destroyed and in danger. As technology advances so fast, today we can make good use of this knowledge to make nuclear medicine, cancer treatments, energy sources, or aerospace technology. Regardless, the use of these weapons of mass destruction must stop, and we can always help. You can do so as going to the ICANW.org site that fights and raises awareness about the risks and dangers of nuclear bombs. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.